I used to think it was not true that all spiritual work began with oneself. You know, I felt like that was a way of disempowering people and saying, you know, if you wait until you're an avatar, you'll never join the people rioting in the street. And I used to say, you know, if you see people rioting, you have a moral obligation to join. You don't even have to know what it's about. The people rioting is a sufficient imperative to political action to be there. Well, I'm not 25 anymore. That provided a lot of fun. But I now think, you know, you do not make a unflawed contribution unless you have first gotten your ducks somewhat in order. I'm not saying you have to be able to walk on water, but you have to have at least considered your own life and your values and that sort of thing. You know, it's pretty simple, the ethical life. It's just demanding. Many of you have heard me say this. This is Father McKenna talking to you. The moral life does not consist of wheatgrass diet or affirmations or any of that. The moral life is you should clothe the naked, you should feed the hungry, comfort the afflicted, bury the dead, and there are a couple others, obvious things to be done. I have never seen a truly superior person, I don't believe, and if I have, they were so humble and self-effacing that they never would have claimed that superiority as their own. The mushroom said to me once, and I've said it to many of you many times, it said, for one human being to seek enlightenment from another is like a grain of sand on the beach seeking enlightenment from another. Don't you get it? It's the same flesh. It's the same flesh. Nobody knows anything you don't know, and even if they do, it's not your knowledge, so what good is it doing you? The idea that it's okay for you not to understand mathematics or not to play the violin because somebody else does it very well is a complete cop-out. You will be held responsible for what you know and what you can do. It's fun to take responsibility. It's fun to test the water. The hardest thing to put across to oneself and to other people is that the universe is a more friendly place than we have been told. The culture is institutionalized paranoia, and it's very hard to decondition oneself from this. No matter how deconditioned you may think you are, there is more and more work to be done. And I think the essence of Taoism and why its roots in nature are so powerful is because what Taoism is saying is if you will quiet your mind and if you will pay attention, you will discover that you are supported and cared for by the dynamic of the universe. This should be obvious by virtue of the fact that you're even alive. I mean, how unlikely is your existence? I put it to you, pretty unlikely. And yet, here you are. Well, do you just think it was the greatest series of well-rolled dice in history? That's silly. That's ridiculous. Probability would never have delivered us to this room this afternoon. Probability sculpted by loving intent has delivered us to this room. Once you can sense that living intent and make it an object of familiarity, that is the antidote to cultural paranoia and to the acceptance of your identity through imposed definitions by other people. It really is true, as the Bible says, you must become as a little child. That means you must become pre-culture. You must recover who you were before the engines of culture went to work on you and abused you and made you afraid and dumbed you down and distorted your values and so forth and so on.